Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to episode number 93 of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hope everyone is staying safe. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is extraordinary times, isn't it?
It is the craziest thing.
Are you guys hanging in there, staying healthy?
Yeah, we are. We're doing good. Pretty much the only place we go is the grocery store. But we try to go for drives. We go for lots of walks around the neighborhood. But we're trying to see the positive side of it of, hey, this is a lot of time that we get to spend together as a family, and we're really loving that and just hanging out in our backyard.
It really is extraordinary.
And fun, yeah.
We've had more campfires in the last 2 weeks than I've had in the last 2 years. Definitely getting a lot of time outside and being able to spend a lot of time with the kids has been a wonderful byproduct. I know so many people are saying, I just wish time would slow down and I wish I had more time with family.
Is.
Well, everybody's been given that gift.
Yep.
And I pray that everybody's staying safe out there and that your family is safe. And for those that have been impacted by it, our thoughts and prayers are with you.
Yeah, definitely.
COVID-19 has brought a shock to the world, and millions and millions and millions have suddenly and unexpectedly been thrown in unemployment. Last week's numbers, as we're recording this, was 6.6 million in a week.
Yeah.
3.3 million the week before. That's 9.9 million. To put it in perspective, I believe the number is 700,000 people total in a week was the worst of the crisis of 2008 and 9.
Oh, wow.
So
I know people that are unemployed now.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so the stock market imploded. People went from record sales in January, February to laying off people in March. It's just been extraordinarily weird and odd. And so people are operating their lives without any financial reserves, and now they're facing a challenge of trying to hold their life together financially. And so just like we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, we're going to focus on this.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what we're going to really focus on.
So today specifically, we are going to talk about how to maximize your CARES Act cash payments that most Americans will be receiving very soon. So if you don't know about this, what it is, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it.
That's right.
Yep.
We're going to call it some CARES cash. And so pretty much everybody's going to get some CARES cash. And we really want to help you maximize it. That's what we do here is we help you maximize your finances and really take advantage of every dollar you get. We want George Washington's wooden teeth to rattle because you're stretching that dollar so much. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, continuing to be right now relevant with all the information and the challenges that you face there at home. And that's why we're here at the Monday Money Tip Podcast. We do have a featured resource for this month. Tell everybody about it.
We do. So it's been a tough few weeks. And if you know a high school or college age student, we have a great resource for them. So for the month of April, we're offering our grad special. So you can purchase a copy of What Everyone Should Know About Money Before They Enter the Real World for just $10 with free shipping to U.S. destinations. And now is really a great time for high school and college students to learn how to manage their finances. So just visit iwbnin.com/grad to pick up your copy today.
Absolutely. And we're super excited. I mean, to be able to talk about graduation, and hopefully by the time graduation rolls around, we're starting to talk about some level of return to normalcy. Yeah. We know most graduations have been canceled as far as the walk and all that. And that's so disheartening for those that have worked 4 years for that degree and 13 years of school, K through 12.
I saw a video of, this was like a few weeks ago and people were still flying, but they were on an airplane. I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but they had just found out they weren't going to be able to walk. And so the flight attendant arranged it and they had music playing in the background and they got to walk down the aisle of the airplane. And they talked about this is so-and-so from this school and here's what they graduated with. And I just thought that was so sweet of the world coming together and positive things that have come out of this of people being able to be there for each other and how great that is.
That's right. And, we've all had interruptions to our life, vacations. I'm sitting here. We should have been on spring break right now in Florida. That did not happen. So we're in the worldwide headquarters of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not.
This is kind of like Florida.
And we see lots of other things showing up on our calendars that were scheduled and we just haven't taken them off. Somebody's birthday and you can't go hang out with them.
Yeah.
So-and-so's party that they were going to have. And I just say this, those are inconveniences. I mean, when you boil them down at the end of the day, if you do not have your health, what do you have? And so we're praying for all those that are impacted. And we're doing everything we can to prevent more people from being impacted. And we're starting to get some good news that it is starting to reduce the number of people that are infected. But today we're going to talk about some current money events. I like to talk about some current money events section. And so we're going to talk about the fact that many banks are offering payment relief for a variety of loans. So if you have a mortgage loan, a home equity line of credit, automobile loan, many banks have stepped up to the plate and offered payment relief. Now, there is a difference between what they're offering. Some are offering deferment, and some are offering forbearance. What do you think? Do you know the difference between those two? Or shall I educate you and our vast audience?
I mean, I can see it on the paper,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I won't cheat.
So deferment and forbearance, they mean two different things, and you really want to know what your bank is offering.
Right.
So deferment means payments are pushed to the end of your payment schedule. So if you're due to pay it off in 27 years and they defer 3 months worth, those 3 payments and interest are moved to the end of that 27 years, and you are no penalty to your credit, nothing due for 3 months. That's deferment. Forbearance just means payments are paused. You don't have to make them. However, you suspend those mortgage payments for that specific amount of period without any late fees, without being reported your credit as delinquent. However, at the end of, let's say it was for 90 days, at the end of those 90 days, you have to make all those payments in one big lump sum, including interest.
Oh, wow.
And you know, of course, if you don't achieve the ability to do that, then you'd have to maybe get your loan restructured. But it is a big difference, because if you're just forbearing it, you're just pushing it off. It's just like a big pile of snow piling up in front of you. It's going to cascade an avalanche on top of you at the end of the 90-day period or whatever period they give you.
Yeah, and you might need
So
the
you
episode.
want deferment.
Yeah.
So you should check out your bank and see if it's deferred. And we've got a link from Forbes.com that lists all the banks and who's doing what with deferment related to this coronavirus pandemic. So if you've been negatively impacted financially, you may qualify. So contact your lender directly and start through their website. And listen, you may not think you need it right now, but if you see that you're at an employer and there's a chance that it's going to affect you, go ahead and do it right now. Just get ahead of the curve. It allows you to have multiple options in front of you. And frankly, deferment, where it doesn't affect your credit, doesn't affect anything except for the fact you get to keep 3 months worth of payments, that can be a big monumental help to you down the road, where you'll be saying, I'm so glad I did that back then. And so we'll have a link to that in the show notes, and I encourage you to maybe have that conversation today with your bank.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's it for today's current money events section. You like that singing?
Love it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to maximize your CARES Act cash, or your CARES cash. It's like Kohl's cash.
Yeah. Very similar.
So very similar, which they are extending, so that's good. So most Americans will be receiving a lump sum of cash to help them navigate the financial challenges created by this COVID-19 pandemic. So we're going to talk you through a couple of steps about how you can maximize yours. So the number one is to calculate your CARES Act cash payment.
Yeah, so this is a pretty easy calculation. So it's $1,200 per individual, $500 per child under the age of 17. Okay? So for the average family of 4, let's say you have a 5-year-old and 8-year-old in the house, you file your taxes jointly, married filing jointly, you would get $1,200 per parent. That's $2,400. And for your 2 kids, $500 each. So you get $3,400. Now, this is subject to income limits. So those of y'all making bank, you know, if you're an individual making more than $75,000, it starts to phase out. So they start reducing your payment, your CARES cash, and it phases out completely by the time you hit 99 grand. So if you make $99,001, you're out. You get $0. They're saying basically you should be able to weather this without
You're doing
it.
okay.
And couples who make double that, so they double everything, $150,000 or more. Well, then if you make $150,000 or less, you'll get it all. However, it starts phasing out at $150,001 all the way to $198,000. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And so if you make more than $198,000, you know, we're over here, you know, just saying, hey, you should be able to suffer through this without your payment. I know it doesn't seem fair. You know, you pay a lot of taxes. However, you know what? You should also have a little extra in savings.
Yeah.
So I understand it. They have to pick a number. They chose to pick that number. It seems pretty fair to me. And payments should start arriving within the next couple of weeks. And so as of the date of this podcast, some of you could be receiving it as of the date of this podcast over the next 3 weeks. It should be paid out to everybody. Now, how will eligibility be determined? Megan, enlighten us.
Yes. So it's funny, I actually called you and talked to you about this for my situation. So according to the statements made by the government, so thank the government for this, they'll start with 2019 tax filings. So many have already filed at the start of the year because they wanted to receive their tax refund. So maybe that's you. Maybe you already filed, so it will go off of that. If you have not yet filed your 2019 taxes, your 2018 tax filing will be utilized. So if you didn't file either year, they're going to assume you meet the qualifications.
And just send you the money.
Yeah.
And so that's important. And so if you filed up for e-file, where the money is deposited in your bank account for the refund, that money will just show up in your bank account. Listen, you don't have to do anything to get this money. They're just going to send you the money. And so that's really important. And I know there's a lot of nuances to this.
Yes.
And they've spelled out some of those. So for Megan and her husband, Jordan, when they filed their taxes in 2019 for the tax year of 2018, little Logan was not here yet. You have not filed your 2019 taxes here in the year 2020. And so the government, they know that Logan exists. He has a social security number, but you haven't filed taxes claiming him yet.
Right.
So they're going to default to 2018, and you and Jordan are each going to get $1,200, $2,400 bucks. Does that mean you miss out on the $500 for Logan?
No.
No. And what this means is that if you've had a child that's not been claimed and you don't receive the $500 for that child, when you file your taxes in 2021 for the year 2020, they're going to true up that number. What does that mean? They're going to check and say, how much did you receive? $2,400. How much were you eligible for? $2,900. And you will get a $500 credit, the Hibbard family will, on their 2020 taxes that you file in 2021.
Yeah.
And again, these payments are not advances of your tax refund for next year. These are true credits being given to Americans, dollar for dollar, not taxable, pretty extraordinary.
It is crazy.
Again, the reason the government is doing this is the economy's sort of in a state of suspended animation. That's my best description I've heard so far. That it's kind of sitting here hovering. It's got a little bit of life support, but they've suspended it. Nothing's moving. No one's consuming as much other than the basic needs. And their hope is that people can stay as financially whole as possible so that when they can release back to their regular activities. And, you know, the day that happens is when we have a good cure followed by a great vaccine that can prevent. So we don't know how long that is. But we do know that this is trying to keep people whole, and they have signaled, even as recently as today, prior to us coming and recording this, that they are open to sending more money.
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing.
I haven't heard that. That's
so
awesome.
They're also, as part of this CARES Act, giving money to businesses to keep people employed. And so that's a big deal. So that's how eligibility is determined. Almost all of our listeners are going to get this money, and you don't have to do anything for it. It's just going to show up in your bank accounts.
Yeah. And I would say if you're a church leader or a small business owner, you and one of our good friends, Michael Lukas, did a webinar on this. And so I'll include a link to the show notes that you guys can
on
go
how it affects employers.
On how it affects employers specifically, because that's kind of different. But on our website, on I Was Broke Now I'm Not website, we have a link at the top bar with all of our COVID resources. So I'll make sure to include a link to that too. So videos, ebooks, podcasts, all that kind of stuff that you guys can go and you can learn all about this. It's in one spot. And
so we're really wanting to help you maximize this CARES cash. So hopefully you have your number. So if you're going solo through life right now, and you've got the $1,200 coming your way, or whether you're a family of 5 and you've got yourself $3,900 coming your way, we want to help you maximize your CARES cash. And so after you calculate your cash payment, you can start planning it. And planning it before you receive it is like a superpower. And that allows you to think through all the options without the urgency and the emotions of, I've got this money, what do I do with it? Oh my goodness, I spend it. And so you can plan it. You now know your number. You can plan each dollar. And we should use a wildly popular, it's an amazing formula. What is that formula?
You might have heard it before, but it's income minus outgo equals exactly zero trademark.
That's right. And we call it exactly zero trademark because you can take the E from exactly and the Z from zero, and it's easy.
Yep.
And so we want you to balance and plan each dollar and with a budget. And make it easy. Make it balanced to exactly zero. And what do we mean by that? Is that we give every dollar a name. And so we have a mini budget, and we'll have a link in the show notes. It's at iwasbrokenowimnot.com under the free tools section. And what I want you to do is prepare a plan that spends that money 3 different ways before you actually spend it for real. You'll type in the number once, $3,900, $1,200, whatever your number is. And then it automatically will populate that in the top of the other two budgets. So there's 3 budgets, and you get to spend each one to exactly 0. Why would I have people spend it 3 different ways before they spend it for real, Megan?
It's a great way for you to see exactly how you're going to be able to maximize it the best.
That's right.
So your first instinct might not always be your best instinct.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, man, I'm going to go find this one fun thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to save it all. Because fear's taking over my life. I'm just going to save it all. Or I'm going to pay off this one debt. And so the reason that we really want you to do it is exactly what you said, is it allows you to explore the other options.
Right.
And what I know is when you stop and think, it allows you to explore your options, and it helps you remove emotions from the decisions and just helps you become so much better at planning and maximizing those dollars that you're going to receive so that you don't look back with regret saying, man, we totally misused this money. Okay. So now that you've calculated your CARES cash and you've planned every dollar and you've looked at it 3 different ways before you're going to spend it for real, what is the next thing that they should do?
Yes. So number 3 is to use the I was broke, now I'm not ladder.
That's right. And so the I was broke, now I'm not ladder, and we have an episode that explains the whole ladder, but it really goes through a series of great questions that helps you maximize this money. So we assume that you've written down your plans, hopes, and dreams, the things that you want to accomplish with your life, the places you want to go, the type of lifestyle you want to have, the house, the how much giving you want to do into what organizations, all the things that make a life a great life. What do you want to provide for your kids, your family? But rung number 2 is having 1 month's worth of expenses and savings. So let me ask you a question as you're sitting in your house self-isolating. Do you have a month's worth of money in savings? You know what really grieves my heart greatly is the statistics were already out there is that 40% of Americans, Federal Reserve had this number, that 40% of Americans could not accommodate an expense, an unexpected expense of $400 or greater. Think about that in the context of what's going on in America right now. They couldn't accommodate $400 expense, unexpected expense, with income, with employment.
And now
what is this going to look like now? What are those? I had an amazing moment happen. I have a farm and it's near an area of town that is, pretty poor. And I was driving off of my property the other morning and I saw a school bus and I had to stop. And I noticed there was a car waiting there like they're dropping off their kids. And their kid got out and their kid was about the same age as my son. And the dad got out and they walked up and the school bus driver and 2 helpers carried off 2 big bags of groceries. And it affected me deeply because I sat there and I said, we're talking about not going on our spring break vacation. This means food for kids.
Right.
That kid looked thrilled to be carrying his bag of food. And I mean, it was a full bag. And I sat there and I said, how great is it that we actually have systems in place to help take care of these kids who are the only way they're guaranteed of meals is by going to school during this time of year.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important to be generous during this time frame. Generosity is a foundation of the ladder. And you can't help everybody, but you can help somebody. And do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. And do you have a month's worth of money in savings? If not, man, put this money in savings because it preserves your ability to be generous. Maybe you do have that, but do you have any non-house debts that you could completely pay off? Do you have a car that you could finish paying off and it would allow you to free up a $400 a month payment? Are you close on paying off a credit card where you could free up a $125 a month payment? If you could completely pay off a debt, that might be a good decision for you to do.
Yep.
List some other options that they could think about.
All right. So maybe you say, I don't have any debt I need to pay off, but maybe do you have any savings of at least 3 months of expenses already? So
you may have a month's worth.
Yeah.
You may have paid off all your debts except for your house, and rung 5, after you pay off all of your non-house, non-business debts, is to build your savings to a minimum of 3 months for those unplanned, unexpected emergencies. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
We're in it.
We're in it.
Yeah.
Can someone please tell me when this is over? This is over when you get a cure and when you get a vaccine.
Yeah.
That's when it's over. In the meantime, things aren't going to be normal for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new normal. And as a result, savings, cash is king, folks. It allows you to be consistently generous, to have options, to be able to breathe, sleep at night. And I would note this, that known upcoming non-monthly expenses, those things where you know they're coming, Christmas, used to be vacations, things like that, they're a foundation of the ladder. And what I would tell you is that many of you right now, you know this COVID-19 pandemic is going to affect your income. You know this. You know it. It's going to affect their income. And as a result, you know what? You may need to decide to save all of it just because you know this upcoming expense of loss of income is happening. Maybe you've had a pay cut. Maybe you've lost your job. You're one of those 10 million. And it's going to be 30 or 40 million people unemployed by the time this is over, I believe. Unbelievable. And so I just encourage you, use the ladder to help inform the decision that you make with the money as you plan the use of this 3 different ways.
I think maybe when this is over, we should do an episode on the foundation of the ladder. I don't think we've done that yet.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.
Yep. Okay, so number 4 is wait a little while.
That's right. Before you spend a dime, wait a little while. Listen, you may feel differently about how to best utilize your money tomorrow or a week from today. I'm telling you, 1 month ago, no one would have believed what's happening in America right now.
Yeah.
As I sit here, most of America is in a stay-at-home or stay away from everybody, 6 feet away, social distancing requirement, all of that stuff. And listen, that was 4 weeks ago. It feels like it's 17 weeks ago. And what I would tell you is how you're going to feel about this money a week from now may change. So does it really matter if you spend the money or not spend the money 1 week? So for that reason, I found it very helpful to wait a while before you actually execute the plan, because it strips away those emotions from the decisions. And we all know how our emotions can affect our financial decision making.
Yeah, I think everyone's experiencing a lot of different emotions now in this season of like being quarantined and stay in place and all that kind of stuff. It's just like you're trying to navigate through how do you feel, how do you talk about it, how, you know, it's weird. It's a weird season.
It's progressive. So 3 weeks ago, all of us would have raced out to the grocery store, whatever.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're staring at everybody.
Yeah.
Many people are wearing masks, and it's not unusual and everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Really extraordinary. And so we want everybody to know that we're staying tuned to the latest developments so that we can keep you informed with right now relevant stuff. And what we've chosen to do with each of these episodes is to talk about God's word and some promises that are there. And so today it's Proverbs 21:5, and it's my favorite. It's my life verse as it comes to money. And it is, the plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. Don't allow hastiness to intervene in your planning for the use of this CARES cash. I'm going to use a word, planful. Made it up. Be planful with the money. Be intentional. Be diligent, and watch it lead to profit down the road. Yeah.
That's great. If you guys have specific questions after listening to this, or clarification about something, or you're not sure, you just have questions, you just let us know. We'd love to answer those. You can email those to us at info@iwbnin.com or Facebook or whatever works best for you. We'd love to kind of help you guys navigate through this as we're all learning a new norm.
And so barring some other major change, we're going to talk about some more common financial topics starting next week, but we will have the Current Money events section be focused on the ever-changing financial climate related to the pandemic. So tell everybody what the main topic will be next week.
So maybe we're going to talk about, I feel like we've been talking about this episode like 3 weeks. We're going to talk about foolish things people do with their money. So originally scheduled to be aired just before April Fool's Day. We're going to share some common things people do with their money that just don't make a lot of sense. And better yet, we're going to share ways that you can avoid making these mistakes with your own money.
Yep. And so that's it for this episode. If you liked it, please help us get the podcast so other people could benefit. There's so many people getting CARES cash. We want to make sure people maximize it. You can get this to other people by sharing it on your social media links on Facebook, liking us and subscribing on YouTube, hitting the bell so you're notified whenever a new one is available. And if you have implemented any of our tips, share your success stories with us by emailing us at info@iwbnin.com or sharing as a comment on our I Was Broke Now I'm Not Facebook page. Do you have any last words to share with everyone today?
It's overwhelming, but I think trying to look at the positive things is the way that we're going to push forward. So seeing the positive things of you getting to spend time with your family, life is a slower pace. How awesome is that? Or even like the stories you hear, you kind of have to weed through them on the news, but like the positive stories of things happening, or like I've talked to lots of people who have had the chance to like share and like talk about Jesus with other people and how great that is. And people are searching. And so like utilizing this chance for the better when we can look back and say like, I really feel like I optimized this. I used this time, and not that it,
so good.
I don't know. I feel like it can really be a pivotal point, not only for the church, but also for us individually. So how are we going to step into that?
I really totally agree. And, you know, when we look back at this, and this is what we're saying with all of our teams is, you know, we will get through this. And when we look back on this time, how do we want to remember it? How do we want others to remember it?
Yeah.
And so we want you to remember us as serving you with right now relevant information, being able to help you every single Monday have a tip to employ immediately. And so you all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.